everyone, Vasel here, and we just recently did a video where we talked about our 10 favorite games of the year. But, you know, this is the sort of thing where there's so many great games that come out over the course of the year that I wanted to highlight some other fantastic games. So I want to do my number 11 through 20 of the year because I think there's some other great games that need to be talked about. So we'll get started here with number 20, which is Cottage Garden. Cottage Garden is a really fantastic game. It's a very simple premise. Fill a garden with Tetris-style pieces. You have all these different things, and you're putting them into your garden. Fill your garden up, empty it out, put some more in. And it's a very light, easy game. It's very similar to the very popular game Patchwork, but Patchwork is only 2 players and has a little economic system in it. This one kind of wipes it away. This one is simply about filling 2 different gardens at the same time, and when you fill one, then you start another garden. It's easy, it's light, and at the same time offers a lot of good tactical choices. Number 19 is Islebound. This is from Ryan Laukat, illustrated by Ryan Laukat, published by Ryan Laukat, from Red Raven Games. Islebound is just a simple game where you move a ship on the board and then take an action, and it has a lot of things in it that I like, where when you take an action you pay money. You know, you'll be dropping coins into this spot, and instead of taking an action, you might want to grab all those coins. Or maybe you can own an island, and then it's for free. You can take an island by military force or by negotiation, and each of those has different ways of doing it. There's a lot of different actions. There's a lot of things going on. It's a lot of recycled things from other games, but it comes together in a very simple, easy way. Again, with the same wonderful artwork that Ryan does, makes a really nice game. Number 18 is Quadropolis. Quadropolis is from Days of Wonder. Each year, Days of Wonder puts out a wonderfully, beautifully produced game. This city building game is no exception to that. And Quadropolis, the thing I think I like about it the most is as you place people out, you're getting tiles from a grid, and how you get those tiles depends on where you put them in your city. There are 2 games in the box for Quadropolis, a basic or an advanced game. Both work really well. Both are more of puzzles, I guess, than city building, but they're fun. They're tactical. As you try, you can block other players depending on how you place your workers. You can decide how to build the city. It has kind of there's a little bit of a 3D look to it. Just gorgeous, but at the same time, a lot of fun. Quadropolis. Number 17 is Bloodborne. This game, designed by Eric Langen from Cool Mini or Not, is the video game is a theme that I don't really care for. It is it's just kind of dark and gruesome, and I've never even played the video game, but I really enjoy this card game. In this game, you are trying to kill bad guys, which is, of course, you know, you're going through, but you're trying to be the one who does the final blow to the bad guy. And if you mess up the other players while they are trying to kill the bad guy, well, that's no skin off my nose, and in fact, that's even better for me. In fact, this game feels a little bit like Cutthroat Caverns, except it takes place in a much shorter amount of time. This is one of the few games of the year that when I played it, I was like, I want to play it again, and I want to play it again. I liked how fast and fun it was, and at the same time, you're stabbing the other person in the back to some degree. Bloodborne. Number 16 is Clank. Now, Clank is a deck building game, and, you know, deck building is kind of a crowded genre, but Clank managed to do something new with it. As you are a treasure hunter, and it has a board, and you're moving through the map trying to pick up treasure and get out of the map. And so the cards that you're using in this deck building game are being used for both buying more cards, put in your deck, fighting enemies, or moving around in this thing. And again, it has this thing, it's how deep do you want to go? How far do you want to push your luck before you get out with the treasure that you've accumulated? It's a simple game, but the graphic design is clean, and it's easy to play. It has push your luck and deck building in it, and it doesn't take that long of a time to play. It's just a really good combination. This is kind of what we have come to expect these days from Renegade Games. Clank. Number 15 is Vast. Vast is, well, it's right here next to me here. Vast is one of the most asymmetrical games I've ever seen, where one person is playing a dragon. This dragon is trying to escape from this cave. And then there's a knight who is trying to go in there and kill the dragon. Then there's some goblins who live in the cave, and their goal is to escape the dragon, but kill the knight. And then there's a thief in there who doesn't really care about any of that, just wants to steal gold. And then one person plays the cave itself, trying to collapse. This is a really unique concept. Each player plays extremely differently, has different movement rules. I mean, everything is different, and yet it comes together in a coherent cohesion of a game that is interesting and fun and really unlike almost anything else I've seen come out this year. So pretty neat game, Vast. Number 14 is the Big Daddy, probably the most hype of any game that came out this year, and that is Scythe. This game from Stonemaier Games. The thing that attracted to me at first was just the beautiful artwork. The artist with these landscapes of an alternate history and in the different Eastern Europe countries and Russia, and with mechs and steampunk. It's a little steampunkish, but also people with bears and tigers and stuff. Beautiful artwork, but the game itself is a solid Euro mechanism style game. There's a little bit of combat in the game, but it's a very minor part. And instead, players use these player boards to pick actions and then eventually make those actions cheaper to do and give better benefits. It's a really neat system. The game doesn't take long. It's a beautiful production. In short, it's a Stonemaier game, really. It is fantastic. It certainly has lived up to the hype. Very high in the ratings and on mine. That's Scythe. Number 13 is Defenders of the Last Stand. Defenders of the Last Stand is a game in which it's a post-apocalyptic future, and it's based on the game Defenders of the Realm. In fact, it's almost the same game. There's just some changes and tweaks to it. But in this game, you are defending the city here, and all different forces are coming in to get to the city, whether they're a biker gang or they're mutants from the future. And you are going around and having adventures and stories and fighting these people off. It's a cooperative game. But there's such a strong dollop of theme in this game. It really has Mad Max and other things. And it's never too dour. There's a lot of fun and entertainment in the game, and it has a lot of miniatures. But I think the thing that drew me to it was just the story. The mechanisms are cool, and fighting these big bosses and getting to chuck lots of dice and working together as a team is a lot of fun. But it's that story that keeps bringing me back to Defenders of the Last Stand. Number 12 is Millennium Blades. I did not expect to think I would like a game about playing a collectible card game. That's very meta, right? And it seems like a joke, but the game works really well. You actually play the collectible card game in this Millennium Blades, and it's an okay game, but the game itself is really about getting these cards and getting rares and trading them with other players. It's a real-time game that doesn't really feel real-time because there's very long turns, 10-minute turns where you're grabbing things and buying cards, and you like open a pack, it's not what I need. Should I trade it in now or should I just keep it anyway? A lot of that going on, and it's intriguing and unique, and yet really harkens back to those days where you're actually buying those packs of cards, CCGs. So a lot of fun, Millennium Blades. And then the one that just missed my top 10, a fantastic game from CGE, and that is Adrenaline. Adrenaline is a area control game, but it's a shooting game. Think of any shooting game you can think of, where you're going into an arena with your machine gun or shotgun or whatever you might have and fighting other players. That's what this is. You run around, you shoot other players, you get different weapons, you collect the ammunition for those weapons, you shoot them some more, they blow up, and then you get points when someone gets killed, and you want to have the most damage on that person. That's where the area control comes in. When you get killed, no big deal, you respawn and you keep coming back until someone has enough points to win the game. It's really a shooting game in theme and feels like that, but if you're like, I don't want to die in a game, it's not that big of a deal, dying doesn't hurt you, rather it helps the people who shot you, and then you just come back and find another weapon and keep going. It's very fun, it's very thematic, honestly. It does do that shooting thing well, but beyond that, it's a really entertaining, fun game. So those are 10 games that I missed my top 10, but I would be very glad to play, and honestly, they could be a great top 10 list anyway. I could go probably even farther beyond that. There was a lot of great games that came out in 2016, but we'll stop there. Check out our other top lists. We'll be talking all about 2016 over the month of December. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.